Hey, welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving into a really cool old folktale. It's got princes, strange promises, and, well, a very unusual princess. And believe me, it has a powerful lesson about what's really valuable in life.
So, let's kick things off with a huge question, one this whole story is kind of built around. It's a question a king and his three sons are forced to figure out, and let me tell you, the answer is probably not what you're thinking. Alright, so our story kicks off with a king. He's got three sons, and he's really eager for them to get married. So he sends them on this, well, it's a pretty strange and life-changing quest to find their brides. And his method for doing it? It's unconventional, to say the least.
The king's plan is super simple, maybe even a little random. But here's the thing. For the youngest prince, his stick doesn't land near a castle or some fancy mansion. Nope, it lands deep in a mysterious, dark forest. Right away, you get the feeling his quest is doomed from the start. So, get this. While his older brothers find, a baroness and a countess, exactly the kind of brides you'd expect for princes, our youngest prince, he finds a talking cat, a pussycat, to be exact. And the only way he can go home is if he promises to marry her. Talk about a tough situation. Okay, so now things get interesting. The king decides he's going to test these mystery brides, and he starts by demanding some pretty amazing gifts, gifts that are supposed to prove their worth and show everyone that they're good enough to marry a prince. So, test number one. The king orders each son to bring back a beautiful bouquet of flowers from his fiancée. For the two older brothers, this is a piece of cake. But for the youngest prince, it feels completely impossible. I mean, how do you get a bouquet from a cat? He gets to the forest, totally bummed out, and his little pussycat bride asks him, "Hey, why are you so upset?" Now, really pay attention to this moment. This is his big choice. Does he just give up, or does he decide to trust her?
The pussycat just tells him to chill out and get some rest. And since he doesn't really have any other options, he basically puts his fate in her paws. And what happens? While he's sleeping, she whips up this absolutely magical bouquet. We're talking flowers made of pure silver, gold, and even diamonds. No normal bride could ever come up with something like that. Now, this is super important. Why silver, gold, and diamonds? Because that's exactly the stuff the king thinks is valuable. He isn't looking for a sign of true love or, a creative gift. Nope, he wants a big, flashy show of wealth and power. That's what royalty means to him. And this just perfectly shows you where the king's head is at. He is totally blown away by how expensive and shiny the gift is. He immediately declares it the winner, which just goes to show you. Right now, for him, it's all about appearances.
All right, but the king's not done yet. A week later, he comes up with another challenge. This time, he wants a fancy, finely woven handkerchief from each future daughter-in-law. So the tests are getting a little more personal, right? They require some serious skill, not just money.
And just like that, the youngest prince is back to feeling hopeless. I mean, even after she produced a diamond bouquet, his faith is shaky. He's like, how is this going to work? A pussycat can't weave. You can see he hasn't fully learned to trust her yet.
But what does the pussycat do? Same thing as before. She tells him to just go to sleep. And maybe this time he's got a tiny bit more hope, because he listens. And sure enough, he wakes up to find another impossible gift, a handkerchief, woven from threads of pure silver, gold, and diamonds. It's even more amazing than the bouquet.
And what do you think the king does? He loves it. He again says the gift from the youngest son's bride is the best. This just proves, once and for all, that he is still 100% focused on flashy, expensive stuff. He's totally impressed by what he can see and touch, and completely blind to the real test his son is going through.
Okay, let's get to the final challenge. And this one is the big one. This one can't be solved with a pile of gold or diamonds. This is a test of the prince's honor, of his loyalty to that promise he made way back in the forest. So this is it, the final command. The king wants to meet the fiancés in person. For the older brothers, this is great, a moment to show off. But for the youngest prince, it's his absolute worst nightmare come true. There's no hiding his bride's identity anymore. He's facing a problem that magic gems just can't fix. What does he do? Does he keep his promise to this little pussycat, even if it means everyone at the palace will laugh at him? Or does he break his word and betray her? See, this test isn't about his bride's money. It's a test of his character. And for the third and final time, his pussycat bride tells him to just rest. But this time is different. This time, he trusts her. Completely. He goes to sleep, and when he wakes up, his choice to be loyal and honorable has changed absolutely everything.
The pussycat? She's gone. And standing right there is a beautiful princess, finally free from a curse. And outside, a magnificent royal carriage is waiting to take them to the palace, looking more regal than anyone could have ever imagined.
Now this is the really cool part. The curse. How was it broken? It wasn't about money or power. It was broken because the prince chose to be honorable. He chose to keep his promise, no matter how embarrassing it might have been. He valued his word over what people thought of him.
So, let's wrap this up. It's the moment of truth. All three sons are lined up, ready to present their chosen brides to the king and the whole kingdom.
And when you look at how it all turned out, the lesson is just so clear, isn't it? The older brothers, they played by the kingdom's rules and got exactly what was expected, brides with high status. But the youngest prince, by proving he had real honor, by showing his inner worth, he got a reward that was so much bigger. True love.
The story ends with a huge celebration, of course, but it leaves us with this one last thing to think about. What are the real treasures in your own life that can't be bought with gold? Because at the end of the day, the most valuable things aren't stuff you can hold in your hand. They're qualities like honor, loyalty, and love, the things you have inside you.